I'm still thinking and hoping that my best is in the future.
In the afterglow of the Paris Games, many of our athletes are back at work, planning the next Olympic cycle and how to fund it.
Olympic cycles are so exciting, and I really just kind of feel as though I'm getting started.
I think the Australian population will have high expectations after Paris.
Pole vaulter Nina Kennedy took Australia's Olympic success to new heights in Paris, securing the nation's 18th gold. Now she's back in Perth, preparing for her next competition as a professional athlete.
I think that's why I'm in this weird limbo of I want to celebrate and sink this in, yet I still have to go and, make money for myself, and compete.
Support from family and friends have helped her win Olympic gold, but from an early age, Nina has been inside Australia's high-performance system. Without it, she believes gold wouldn't have been possible.
No, there is no way. It is, the funding and the support. A lot of the time, it's not money in my pocket. It is everything that is, provided to me and done for me. So, when we make Australian teams, our flights are paid for, our accommodation is paid for, the high performance services are paid for.
While Paris saw unprecedented success for the green and gold, Australia hasn't always punched above its weight.
Stephen Holland tonight won Australia's first medal of the 1976 Olympic Games, a bronze in the 1500 metres. Stephen, we all thought you were going to win this one. Are you satisfied with the bronze medal?
I'm very satisfied with the bronze medal because, the time was under the world record and, I did my best.
Australia's total medal haul at the Montreal Games was 5, 1 silver and 4 bronze.
It fell apart in Montreal. No gold medals. I think it was in the 30s placing, and as a result of that, we were so embarrassed. That was the initiation of the Australian Institute of Sport and now the Sports Commission. So that was our start of this new move to try and help our athletes in a different way.
At the turn of the century, with government money flowing, Australia reaped the rewards in Sydney with 16 gold medals, followed by 17 in Athens. Olympic researcher Richard Barker puts Australia's success in Paris down to government and private funding. Now, all eyes are on Brisbane.
It'll be, I think, our best ever. And we'll get all this funding, so I'm very optimistic.
The federal government spent almost $400 million on high-performance sport leading into the Paris Games. Already, the Prime Minister has committed $489 million towards the next Olympic Games in LA.
The bottom line is I want to set up our youngest Australians for success at our own Olympic Games in Brisbane in 2032.
I think the recent announcement by the federal government was absolutely amazing. It was a historical investment in high performance sports. I'd like to see us do one better than Paris, but there's a whole heap of things that go into that on the day.
Matty Clements heads up the Australian Institute of Sport, the body responsible for allocating federal funding for high-performance sports.
Fundamentally, there's a whole heap of things that go into the decision-making of how we fund a sport, a whole heap of variables, but really it's about finding that great balance between performance and well-being.
On paper, it does have performance criterias, but at the end of the day, there's discretion, and some people get approval, and then other athletes aren't fortunate enough to get that. So they're always told it's discretion, and I've been told that too many times, and I just gave up on that and just knew that I needed to support myself in other ways.
Despite clocking world-class times, Olympic marathon runner Liam Adams self-funds his athletic career. He works 40-hour weeks as an electrician.
I ended up spending about 13 grand into this Olympics, and I honestly thought that was probably my best prep I've ever done for an Olympics, and unfortunately couldn't show it.
The 37-year-old finished 49th in Paris at his third Olympics.
Felt good today, even though legs are pretty exhausted from 10-hour days recently, so it's a brutal introduction.
Right. He's still recovering and back at training here in Melbourne's northwest. How does a 4-time Olympian sound?
Oh, that would sound great. I don't think there's many Sparkies in the world that can call themselves a four-time Olympians.
In the last financial year, these 6 Olympic sports secured nearly $55 million, almost half the total funding for high-performance sports, and swimming was the big winner. 5 of these sports delivered 15 of the 18 gold medals Australia won in Paris. Rowing was the outlier.
Undoubtedly, rowing and the athletes and coaches were disappointed with their performance at the Games. But things happen at Games, and we don't want to punish people and sports, and most importantly the athletes, for a moment in time.
Some of these sports and athletes also receive private funds.
Mrs. Reinhardt, you are definitely a part of our team. You are our #1 team member. You're going to be there with us.
It's estimated billionaire Gina Reinhardt has poured around $80 million into Olympic sports since 2012. Rowing, swimming, artistic swimming and volleyball have all benefited.
I couldn't be more proud.
And I think that's fantastic that we have individuals wanting to invest in our high performance programs, but absolutely the biggest contributor to the performance in Paris was the Australian taxpayer.
The executive chairman of mining giant Hancock Prospecting told 730, "I think we should learn from Europe, where countries have decided to cut the expenditure of the sports bodies and make better use of that funding, directing instead to athletes and coaches."
Well, that'd be absolutely sensational, especially for someone like me. If I could help improve my recovery, reduce my workload, that would be great.
Money and funding can be driving factors, but for athletes, the rewards can go much further.
Australia is such a sporting nation. We love our sport, and genuinely just seeing the smiles on people's faces and the messages I've received saying, "You've inspired me so much." And it might not be inspired me in the sporting sense, but you've inspired me to go out and give my best at, whatever they do. And I think that's really important.